Alright, gonna try a new little 2-3 video series here where it's basically things I haven't read yet in comics that I should. So the first one up is characters I have not read a comic for yet, and I need to. Let's get into it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here, as usual, welcome. If at any point you like what you see or hear, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also hit that thumbs up, as that really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And with that said, let's kind of jump right into today's video. So, this first one, this little kind of mini series I'm doing, is basically some characters that I have not read a comic yet for, and I really need to. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are some big names on this list, and I can already feel the hate coming in the comments. So just bear with me. I'm sure some of you are going to be shaking your head by the end of this video, but such is life, right? I tried to do this one where I had a couple of indie characters, a couple Marvel, a couple DC. I could probably have done this just Marvel, just DC, just an indie list. We're going to do it all together tonight. So the first one on my list is Spawn. I know, he's been around a long time, one of the most successful indie heroes ever. Just haven't read him. You know, a lot of my hero character focus is Marvel, DC, and Valiant, believe it or not. Probably more so DC and Valiant. But Spawn is definitely someone that I've been interested to read. I do remember the cartoon back in the 90s. You know, he's one of Jay's favorite characters and whatnot. You know, I do have a Spawn Gunslinger #1 somewhere around here. Have not read that yet, but I understand. I know that's not part of the main storyline. But, you know, eventually I've got to check out some Spawn. He's been around far too long and is just too cool of a character not to check out. Especially now knowing that he's crossing over in the Philadelphia series that Image is doing. So it's one of those alright, cool. I need to understand Spawn a little more. So that is the first of my indie characters on this list. The second one is Judge Dredd. This is one of those where I knew he was a comic book character when I first started reading, you know, because I happened to ask and Jay and Jenna explained it to me. For whatever reason, though, you know, I guess because of the movies, I wasn't too interested, or I should say movie, the first one, the Sylvester Stallone one, I was like, okay. The Carl Urban one that came out in the 20-teens, though, that was like, okay, I really do want to check out this character. And I do actually have a hardcover volume over here on the shelf, and definitely gonna have to sit down and read that one just to kind of get an idea of what that character is like, you know, and just, you know, see what that world's all about. If, you know, if you've got some storylines to recommend for Judge Dredd down in the comments, please let me know. And now we're going to get into the characters where some of you are going to be shaking your head at me, doing this with your fist, like, come on. So I'm going to start out, and I'm just going to alternate these between DC and Marvel. The first DC character is Nightwing. I've been fascinated with Nightwing since some of the later Batman the animated series stuff, not the main animated series, but they had a continuation of it, and he kind of became more prominent. And then the Arkham games, I really started getting interested in the character and seeing where Dick Grayson went from being Robin to now he's Nightwing more as an adult. And, you know, of course the suit looks cool. I love the idea that he has the Screamer sticks that are kind of like cattle prods at the end with the electric stuff. So I definitely want to check out a lot more. I do have, I think, a Rebirth Volume 1, maybe Volume 2 as well, for Nightwing. And then I think there's a couple of new 52 storylines that I need to check out. But yeah, Nightwing is a character that I've been interested in for a very long time, and I need to finally break the ice and read about him. This next one is really... It surprises me I haven't read it because I've always been fascinated with him even since I was a kid. But the Hulk. I really want to read World War Hulk, Planet Hulk, that stuff. I've heard people rave about those two books for I don't know how long. So I've got to read those for sure. Those are probably the first two things for Hulk I will read, but he's a fascinating character. You know, I have learned along the way without having read that there's a lot more to him than just being angry and smashing things. So I'm curious to see what that character is like in a lot of ways. You know, see the more intelligent Hulk that can speak and things like that. And, you know, just to expand, I have honestly not read a lot of Marvel heroes individually. Most of my Marvel stuff has been an issue here or there of something, and a couple of like Marvel Zombies, Deadpool Kills Marvel Universe. I have read a few Deadpools and Civil War, but beyond that, there's not a whole lot. I have read Wolverine Volume 1 of 90 Days to Live. I will say that. So, yeah. But Marvel in general for me is kind of a big mystery when it comes to a lot of their characters. So, I'm sure you can probably give me, right now off the top of your heads, 10 or 15 good storylines. But yeah, just let me know some of your favorite characters from Marvel that I should check out. Okay, so number 2 on this list is probably the biggest character on the entire list. And I will just say this. I've literally only read, I think, 1 or 2 single issues. I've not read a full volume. And that's kind of what I mean by this particular thing, is not reading an issue or 2 here. It's like reading an actual story to get through and enjoy a character. So this one is Batman. I have no excuses to give you on this one. The only reason I can really give you is because Batman, at least in terms of pop culture, has had so many cartoons, movies, you know, stuff like that. When I got into reading and everything, yes, I am interested in Batman. Have always been fascinated with the character, but I wanted to learn about other things first. But now, as I'm kind of getting more into reading, the less I know about him is driving me nuts, because there are some things that I just don't know and don't understand yet. So yeah, and most of my Batman that I have here is, again, I started coming in on Rebirth. So I've got a lot of Volume 1 and 2 trades of Rebirth. So I've got a Batman Volume 1. I think I've got the All-Star Batman from the Rebirth run. And I have a Batman Earth 1 variant comic, which is really cool looking. I've got several of those. And so I've got some Batman to read. I just need to sit down and actually do it. So don't hate me too bad for that one. But yes, I promise I'm going to read some Batman and let y'all know what I think. Alright. Finally, the very last one on my list is the X-Men. Most of my knowledge of X-Men comes from the cartoon in the 90s. One of the greatest cartoons I've ever seen. Second only to Batman the Animated Series, in my opinion. Again, I've read a Wolverine comic, and that's about it. I don't know much about the actual X-Men stuff in comics. I just know some of the broad stroke storylines that they've done in that cartoon, and the very abstract versions of certain things that they've done in the movies that they did. But I'm very fascinated to learn about them. I do have a few characters that I'm most curious about. Gambit probably being number 1 on that list. I've loved Gambit for years. I don't know why. Just always found him cool. He's always been my favorite, even over Wolverine. I understand that Wolverine's kind of the guy that's there in every story, but I don't know, just Gambit. But yeah, I'm very curious to check out a lot of the X-Men stories. Dark Phoenix Saga, that was one of the big cartoon events as a kid. This was long before I knew that it was an actual comic series. I didn't learn that until I was probably in my 30s, not gonna lie. So yeah, that is my list of some characters that I have not read comics for that I need to. Obviously there are some ones that I didn't have on here. That list could actually probably easily be 15 to 20. But with that said, in the comments, let me know some of your favorite characters that you think I should check out, and recommend a storyline for me. I'll be glad to check them out, and when I can, try to grab a trade or something, and I'll let you know my thoughts. So with that said, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch everyone next time. Later.